A serious accusation about former President Trump's legal battles coming from Missouri's Attorney General. Republican Andrew Bailey says, quote, "Thanks to evidence that has come to light, my office has reason to believe Biden's corrupt Department of Justice is the headquarters of the illicit prosecutions against President Trump. He's demanding a whole list of documents from the DOJ on their contacts, their emails, their text messages between all of these offices of the people that you see on your screen, including Letitia James, Fani Willis, and Alvin Bragg." We asked the Justice Department for a response. No response from them as of yet. Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey joins me now. General Bailey, good to have you with us. Thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.
So explain to me, what is the evidence, the clear evidence that links the White House to these prosecutions, which we have heard former President Trump claim all along, and there are a number of sort of ties between the teams. But what clear evidence has come to light that causes you to go this step further?
Well, President Trump is absolutely right. The illicit nature of these witch hunt prosecutions is self-evident to anyone paying attention, broadly speaking, but specifically Alvin Bragg's prosecution at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. It's not supported by the facts or the law. And I would remind viewers that at the end of the day, all attorneys are held to a certain rules of professional conduct, and prosecutors are actually held to a heightened standard of rules. It's illicit to bring a frivolous case, and that's what's happening here. But what we're not focused enough on, and what this request seeks to expose, is the illicit motivations of the prosecutors themselves. Alvin Bragg sued President Trump and then campaigned on a promise to prosecute President Trump. He is self-interested in this case because President Trump is a political opponent of the people that Alvin Bragg is backing. Same with Matthew Colangelo. This was a top official in Biden's Department of Justice that until recently was being paid by President Biden's administration and has now been deployed by the DOJ to assist Alvin Bragg and is now leading the prosecution of President Trump in Manhattan. Again, this is an individual, Matthew Colangelo, who is a longtime supporter of the DNC. And so the political motivations of these two individuals is also self-evident, which gives rise to the clear accusation, proven accusation, right, that their motivations are illicit. They should have been disqualified from this case long ago.
Yeah, I mean, we've discussed Matthew Colangelo. He gave the opening statement in New York, and he was the attorney who questioned Jeffrey McConney and Hope Hicks in the case so far, and he clearly has ties to the DOJ. He left the number 3 spot at the DOJ. But I guess what I'm asking is, do you have, new evidence do you have any evidence that you think is going to be uncovered specifically in these emails that's going to lay out this link for people who listen to what you're saying right now and say, oh, he's just a Republican AG and he just, wants to support Trump?
Yeah, look, these are reasonable inferences to draw from the facts. When you've got, again, Alvin Bragg, who's expressed a self-interest in the prosecution, illicit witch hunt prosecution of President Trump. You've got Matthew Colangelo, who was working for President Trump's political opponent. And again, the objective here is to obtain an illicit conviction of President Trump, but it's also to take President Trump off the campaign trail, something they're successfully doing. And so that's election interference. But I would also point out that there's a long history of the deep state in Washington, D.C. at the Department of Justice behaving in this manner. Remember Peter Strzok and Lisa Page in 2016? Remember how on the eve of President Trump's election, they were already concocting schemes and texting one another back and forth.
I mean, what's the likelihood that you're going to get any of these records turned over to you? I mean, is this an exercise that is going to lead to evidence?
Yeah, we're not going to let the Department of Justice stonewall us. The people deserve to understand the illicit nature, illicit motivation of the prosecutors themselves who are perpetrating this illicit witch hunt. We need to put that out there and have it be transparent. The judge should have disqualified those prosecutors, but if they fail to do so, then the public needs to understand. We need to talk about how we're going to hold the prosecutors responsible. Their professional licensure is on the line. I think there's civil liability, and certainly to the extent they broke the law to obtain these illegal convictions that they're seeking, then it's time to prosecute the prosecutors.
All right, Andrew Bailey, thank you for coming by. Keep us posted if you get any of these documents that you're looking for. We'll see where it goes. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks, Martha.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.